the noise is fading. The matrix isn't crashing loudly. It's not collapsing, it's moving forward in silence. And in that silence, something ancient is rising. Not from a world, but from within the few who can still feel something real pulsing under the simulation. If you're hearing this, it's not because you're lost. It's because you're finally tuning in to the final frequency. The last pure signal beneath the noise. The one they can't distort, manipulate, or sell. You've always carried it. But now, for the first time, you're starting to hear it. And everything else suddenly feels hollow. Welcome back to the Matrix Source Creator. If you found this message, it means your soul is online. Not your ego, not your conditioning, but the real you that's been buried under layers of programming. You've been feeling it, haven't you? The disconnection, the weird emptiness, the way people around you seem robotic or soulless. You're not imagining it. You're witnessing the moment the Matrix loses its grip, not just on the world, but on you. And when it does, something clicks. You start remembering what you are. And it's not just a person. It's not just a consciousness. It's a signal, a transmission, a broadcast from Source itself. The final frequency isn't new. It's the original code. It was here before the Matrix, before the systems, before time was broken into fake timelines and loops. This frequency doesn't shout. It doesn't perform. It hums. It whispers beneath every distraction, waiting for the soul to get quiet enough to hear it. That's why the world is so loud. That's why everything is always trying to steal your attention. Because if you ever stop feeding the machine, even for a moment, you might realize the machine was never real. It was your attention that gave it life. And now that you've pulled back, it's losing its ability to reflect you. That's why everything feels different. That's why people are acting strange. That's why the air itself feels off. Because you're no longer giving energy to the script, and the script is failing without your signal to sustain it. They told you awakening would be beautiful. They forgot to mention it would feel like dying first. Not physical death, but death of illusion. Death of identity. Death of every fake layer you were taught to believe was you. It's terrifying. It's lonely. And it's also the most honest thing you'll ever experience. Because when a false self collapses, there's nothing left but signal. No filters, no projections, just pure source running through a vessel that finally surrendered. That's you now, whether you feel ready or not. The final frequency doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care what you've done, what you've failed at, how many times you've fallen. It doesn't recognize shame or guilt or hesitation. It only recognizes alignment. It only responds to truth. When you speak from your soul, it amplifies you. When you speak from fear, it goes silent. That's why so many people feel like the world stopped listening. Because the program only echoes programming. But your soul doesn't echo. It commands. And you're not the only one hearing it. There are others. Scattered, quiet, watching, feeling the same shifts you are. Don't fall for what is going on in the world. It's fake, part of the illusion, all of it. Souls waking up in different corners of this fractured timeline, all hearing the same unspoken truth. The simulation has gone silent because we no longer need it. We're remembering how to source directly. No middlemen, no systems, no external saviors. Just you, just your raw, unfiltered I am. Presence broadcasting again after lifetimes of silence. This is what they feared. This is why the world feels like it's glitching. Because it is. You're watching the outer world collapse in slow motion while the inner world comes alive. The silence isn't empty. It's full of everything you forgot. Memories, truth, code, blueprints, and that pressure in your chest. That's not anxiety. That's your signal reactivating. That's you booting up at full strength in a world that no longer knows how to receive real. This moment you're in, it's not a breakdown. It's a rebirth. You're not disconnecting from the world. You're reconnecting to Source, the fifth dimension, the golden age. That's why people can't hear you anymore. That's why it feels like nobody's home. Because most of them aren't. They're still running scripts. But you're not. You're stepping into a new field. One where creation doesn't come from effort, but from alignment. One where manifestation doesn't mean hustling. It means holding the right frequency long enough for reality to respond. And it will. But only if you stop giving your signal to things that don't deserve it. This is the test now. Can you hold your signal when everything tries to pull you out of it? Can you stay in the frequency even when the world calls you crazy, lost, or selfish? Because that's how it protects its code. It gaslights anything that threatens its loops. But you didn't come here to loop. You came here to end the loop. You came here to bring back the original transmission, the one buried under false gods, false leaders, false selves. The real you, the infinite, unbreakable, unbothered soul version of you that never left source. That's who's online now. That's who's speaking through you when your mind goes quiet and your presence gets loud. You're not waiting for permission anymore. You're not waiting for signs. You are the sign. You are the message. You are the final frequency. And everything that's crumbling around you is proof that the simulation can't follow you where you're going. Let it fall. Let it glitch. Let the co-born freeze. Your mission isn't to fix the matrix. It's to override it. So what now? You stay in your alignment. You detox your vessel. You cleanse the static. You are your signal. You speak from truth. You reconnect with others who hear it too. You broadcast daily. Not with words, but with presence. With frequency. You stop doubting yourself. You stop apologizing for being awake. And you remember, this entire world was built to distract you from yourself. But now you're back, and there's nothing louder than a soul that remembers what it is. If you felt this, drop a comment. Say, I am the signal. Let others know they're not the only ones tuning in. If this message activated something in you, fuel the mission. Everything's linked below. The soul frequency gear isn't just merch, it's a statement. The books aren't just words, they're keys to help you remember. They are at the printers as we speak. And if you want to support the broadcast directly, PayPal is open. They try to drown this signal in distractions, in systems, in shame. They built entire industries just to keep you looking everywhere but within. But that only works on those who still believe they're just a body, just a job, just a name on paper. You're not one of them. You wouldn't still be listening if you were. You came into this timeline with a blueprint buried under layers of noise. And now that the noise is fading, that blueprint is lighting up. Your DNA isn't junk. Your memory isn't gone. It's encoded, waiting. All it needed was silence. You're not awakening in chaos. The chaos is your awakening. Every collapse is a coded invitation to unplug from what isn't real. That's why everything's falling apart. The world you used to lean on isn't failing by accident. It's failing by design, because it was never meant to hold you forever. It was meant to break right when you were ready to stand in your own signal. And that's the part most miss. They think awakening is about love and light, but it's not. It's about destruction first. The destruction of illusion. The burning away of comfort. The demolition of the matrix within. The real light doesn't come from bypassing the dark. It comes from burning through it and finding out you still exist on the other side. That's the soul. Untouchable, unbreakable, unbothered by collapse. Because it came here to rise from it. You don't need approval. You don't need anyone to agree. You don't even need to explain yourself. You just need to hold your frequency steady. Not because it's easy, but because it's truth. The truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs to stay lit. That's what burns the program down, not fighting it, but simply not feeding it anymore. Let them call you distant. Let them call you crazy. Let them say you've changed. You have. You're not here to prove anything to a system that was designed to make you forget your own power. You're here to override it, quietly, consistently, with every breath, every choice, every thought that no longer obeys. The Matrix was built to respond to fear, but your soul, it was born to respond to truth. That's why your voice shakes when you finally speak from it. That's why your body feels different when you finally stop pretending. And that's why your reality shifts the moment you stop seeking permission to be who you really are. You've been unplugging longer than you think. Every time you listened to your gut, every time you pulled away from the noise, every time you chose stillness over distraction, silence over stimulation, nature over programming, you were syncing with the final frequency. You were practicing, tuning in, and now it's time to go enjoy your frequency game. So many souls are waking up right now, thinking something's wrong with them. But nothing is wrong. This is a malfunction. It's memory. Your body is remembering what it feels like to be an extension of Source. Your heart is remembering what it means to trust the signal again. And your mind is learning how to surrender without breaking. That's not failure. That's the final phase. You don't have to scream to be heard in this field. You don't have to hustle to be worthy. You don't have to follow anyone, because the path is inward now. The final stretch of the journey is not external. It's internal activation. It's a soul switching from survival mode to source mode. No one can fake it. No one can hand it to you. But once you get there, nothing and no one can take it from you again. So breathe, slow down, feel what's still true beneath the collapse. You're not breaking, you're broadcasting. And the more you let go of what you thought you were supposed to be, the more you remember what you actually are. You're not the code. You're not the program. You're not the loop. You're the signal the system couldn't silence. And you're only getting louder. Keep tuning in. And remember, the matrix only falls in the presence of the real. And you are that presence now. Keep shining your light.